Hello and welcome back to Muddy Paws Crime Live. We were supposed to have Denise on, which is Nancy's owner, who has now luckily been reunited. Unfortunately, Denise is feeling very emotional. Even though Nancy has been reunited, the trauma of what you go through as an owner and that your dog goes through does stay with you for a very long time. So thieves need to be aware of this, and also authorities. Denise has given permission for us to continue the live, and Molly, my other director, will be reading out the real story. Karen Field, who helped so many owners, she kindly put the story together from beginning to when Nancy was reunited, and she was one of the group admins, along with Tess Jones and Lisa Smith of Nancy's group. They're all wonderful ladies and helped so many. It's important to, once we've done this live, you're able to actually read the real story also on Nancy's group, which will be put into the comments. And we will try, or I will try, and show you the reunited video at the end of when Molly reads out the real story. I will try and share my screen, but I do apologise in advance. These lives are a little bit of a trial and error for us. So if not, we will put the links into the comments. Okay, I will hand over now to Molly Marie.
Right, so I'll start then. Denise is Nancy's owner, and she has lived with Denise and her family since the age of 8 weeks old. She was one of 8 rescued puppies who were rescued from a bad situation and were born in a bathtub. A few years ago, one of Denise's other dogs, Danko, passed away. Nancy was Danko's shadow, and she had known him all her life. After that happened, sadly, Nancy's behaviour began to change. Despite trying everything for nearly 3 years, it was decided that in Nancy's best interests, a new home should be found for her. This was not a decision taken lightly by Denise. It broke her. But it was made less painful when a good friend of hers, Sue, recommended Ricky, a good friend of Sue, as a possible new home for Nancy. Nancy went to stay with Ricky on a trial basis after meeting both Denise and Nancy. Nancy's microchip was kept in Denise's name until such time as it was decided that Nancy would be placed in a new home with Ricky. On the 4th of April, Denise received news from Ricky to say that Nancy had been stolen on a walk. However, this turned out not to be the case. The truth only came to light after a couple of weeks. Denise and the police being told lies. The reason for the lies was because Ricky, who had Nancy for a trial, was told on no account let Nancy off the lead. She should be kept on a lead at all times when not in the house. He did not listen to this, and on a return from a journey by car, he left Nancy out of the car, off the lead, and she bolted. When Nancy was reunited, this information also turned out to be untrue. Ricky actually took Nancy to a cafe and gave her away. On the 7th of April, Tess was asked to form a group to help find Nancy. This was done, and Denise and Karen were... This was done, and Karen and Denise were added to admin. The dog warden was advised along with Petlog, who put a missing alert on Nancy's microchip. Tess emailed 28 vets in the area. Denise made numerous calls and contacted the police. Nancy was registered on a group for lost pets, and a group chat was set up. Many of the posts had to be changed, as it soon became clear that Ricky was telling different stories. But that was all we had to go on. Denise was asked to contact the group and their police team when it was clear that Nancy was now stolen. The group was changed to stolen. The group entry was changed to stolen, but at this stage, a crime reference number hadn't been given yet. Denise received 2 hoax calls from a caller with an Irish accent saying that he had Nancy. On the second call, the hoaxer's number was visible, so this was reported to the group for lost pets and the police to make people aware of scammers. Denise was obviously very distressed by this and found it very difficult to deal with and process. How can people be so cruel? The 11th of April, they were informed that Lancashire police would speak to Ricky. 13th of April, Denise was informed by now a retired police officer that Nancy had been located and was living with a man in Blackpool. This information was given to the police so they could act on it. It transpires that the man who had Nancy had seen social media posts and realised that the dog he had may be Nancy. He took Nancy to a rescue, and the owner there contacted John, an independent scanner, who went to see the man and Nancy. Nancy's microchip has been scanned twice. Neither of the people who scanned Nancy contacted the dog warden, and Denise wasn't made aware. Instead, the decision was made that Nancy was safe where she was and she could stay there. The information about the chip scanning was obtained when Denise contacted Petlog. All information was given to the police by Denise and the group asking them to act on it. A police officer did attend, but as Nancy was safe and was receiving vet treatment, it was decided that she could stay where she was. I would like to just add that when dog warden was contacted about Nancy, the warden was adamant that this was a civil matter and refused to go out and scan Nancy. The dog warden even said they had spoken to the council's barristers and they agreed this was a civil case. This was just one obstacle we tried to overcome. No matter how many times it was stated that this was a clear case of theft, by finding. No matter how you try and dress the theft up and down, the law is the law. In all this time, Denise was passed from pillar to post and couldn't get any help with Lancashire police on the officers dealing with this despite Denise, admin and the group phoning and emailing. 20th of April. Denise, in desperation, telephoned her local Merseyside police and they gave her a crime number. As Merseyside has no jurisdiction in Blackpool, the information was referred again to Blackpool area and assigned to Fleetwood Police Station. During the next couple of weeks, every effort was made to get the police to act on the information, but they were saying that as there were so many varying stories, they couldn't. However, we have pointed out that this was a theft. Nancy was missing now as a stolen dog, and Denise was the registered owner. So Nancy should be collected and given back to Denise. She had been conned twice, not returned to Denise, nor the dog warden contacted. This is against the law. The police then said that this was a civil matter. It was not. It was a theft. 8th of May, Denise was advised to contact an investigation company to try and find out where Nancy was being kept. This was because we couldn't get the police to release the information nor the two scammers. Scammers, yeah. This Denise did and was told that it would be £1,200. Despite this being a lot of money, Denise said she would beg, borrow, raise the money if this would get Nancy home. Before handing over that sort of money, It was 1,000 up front and 200 after. When Nancy was located, Denise asked a simple question. Did locate mean getting Nancy retrieved from the location? The company were not forthcoming with their answer, so it was decided not to spend that amount of money for a location. When there were people that already knew where she was, i.e. the police and the scammers, it was decided that the court proceedings should be taken, again, the two scams in the small claims court, and it was agreed that someone who was known to Denise over many years would be used as she filed other claims with this kind of success. We were told this had been done in Liverpool County Court on the 18th of May. Sadly, this was not the case, and we found out days later that this person had taken the money for the court fee but never filed the proceedings. You can imagine Denise was distraught. She has now had the money returned. 3rd of June. Letters of notice of intended action were sent by registered post to John and the rescue, asking them to advise where Nancy was. They were delivered, but both recipients ignored the letters. 11th of June. A complaint was sent by email to the group's head officer after a false comment was seen on one of the admin post shares that said, "Oh my God, get your facts right. Nancy is not stolen, she's with her owner." This comment was posted by the group's moderator. This is not acceptable, and as such, a complaint was sent to the group asking them to investigate. It was noted that Nancy's group entry had been restricted. We were obviously devastated by this, as that meant that all the shares of the group's link were now restricted and no one could obtain access to her poster or her details. This severely impacted on the shares, as many people could have thought Nancy was reunited or raised concern in other areas. The entry should never have been restricted, and as nothing was posted on that entry and was a different post that the group were to investigate. Despite several follow-up emails, there has not been one acknowledgement nor correspondence regarding their investigations at all. This is an appalling way to treat an owner who's already been going through a terrible trauma. 7th of July. It was decided to get advice from a solicitor on what court action should now be taken and the cost. Denise had two options, both expensive, and despite Nancy's microchip having a stolen alert and chipped Denise, there was no guarantee that Nancy would be returned, but instead may be offered a monetary settlement by the courts. That would be in no way be right or acceptable to Denise or admin of the group. No one should have to pay to get their dog back that is microchipped to them, as it makes a complete mockery of the law. 21st of July. Nancy's disappearance was also part of Lisa Stoops' Muddy Paws crime TV production, where they are helping over 40 families with missing pets. Lisa offered Denise help with the police and came on board, and in words of Tess, was a breath of fresh air. We had spent months trying to get every possible avenue to get Nancy home. Further statements were obtained from Denise, Sue, the ex-policewoman who informed us that Nancy had been found, and these were forwarded to the police. The production company, via Lisa, contacted the police crime commissioner, Andrew, asking for them to investigate this theft and why it was being claimed that it was a civil matter. Follow-up emails sent and phone calls were made. We emailed newspapers with the story and radio stations. Twitter was also involved, attacking the Lancashire Police, the PCC and others to investigate as a matter of urgency. Follow-up emails were sent by Muddy Paws Crime, and eventually confirmation was received that this was a case of theft. However, Nancy was still not picked up and returned. No one was given up the emails and continued to be sent by Muddy Paws Crime, refuting a lot of information that was not correct, answering all questions asked and providing all information and evidence requested. The Police Standards Authority were also contacted. The group was contacted again by Tess with regards to the complaint, but as stated, no reply has been received. 16th of August 2021, Denise received a call from her mum. Her mum answered the phone. The person will ring back, a policeman. They didn't. So Denise rang the police. They didn't know who called. Then the call came from the police that the call Denise had been waiting for since the 4th of April. They got her. They will meet Denise halfway, and Denise and Nancy were reunited on the 16th of August 2021. Going forward, Nancy is home. She is settling well, although she has some issues with unfamiliar children being around her. As you can see, we'll show the video in a moment after I've read this. Nancy and Denise's grandson, who has grown up with Nancy, there isn't an issue with him, but she never had an issue before with other children. Denise is working on this, and information on where Nancy was kept will be asked for. Denise has a problem, as it's stated that Nancy was receiving vet care, but what this consisted of, she doesn't know, and Nancy's vaccinations are due, so she needs to know. The police, although they became good in the end, were very lax in their investigations. Pet theft is not taken seriously by some forces, and this shouldn't be the case. The officer... Wait, where am I? A complaint has been logged against one police officer because of the way he treated Denise and also an admin on the group. The officer concerned lacked any empathy, and his attitude was very intimidating and quite bullying. This officer needs retraining in his people skills and how to handle cases like this. This all started with Ricky and his lies. The police are also looking into this. This case was clearly theft, and those that knew Nancy as early as 13th of April should be held accountable. They didn't follow the law and indeed did everything in their power to scupper any investigation, resorting to blocking admin and members of Nancy's group to the extent that false information was being put out on their group, but blocked. False information was being put group. No one has the right to decide the fate of any other person's pet. The person registered on the microchip has that right. For over 5 months, many made a mockery of the law by withholding information as to Nancy's whereabouts. This is being addressed to a conclusion. Theft is not a civil matter, it is criminal. So for anyone out there suffering this, please do not give up. The path is not easy, but with a good support team, you can get your pet home. Denise suffered ill health, trolls, accusations of this and that, having her post removed, having her character called into question, but despite this, and there are days when she felt suicidal, she got through it, and she got Nancy home. Thank you to all the admin on the group, to Lisa and Muddy Paws Crime, to Sue and to the retired police officer, and to all the members of Nancy's groups and page, to all that messaged with information, to all on Twitter who helped spread Nancy's story, but most of all to Denise, who stuck through it all, despite her pain to get her girl home. Nancy has been reunited.
Thank you, Molly. It was quite short notice that Denise advised us that she couldn't come on, which is totally understandable. And we will put anyone's story out there, whether reunited, stolen, missing, because all stories need to be addressed. Even though Nancy's at home, it shows the impact that Denise is still going through. She doesn't know, from day to day what happened to Nancy while she was away. 6 months of her missing just doesn't disappear overnight when she comes home. With regards to the police, without saying too much, I'm very, very thankful that Karen and Tess got in touch with Muddy Paws Crime. It was a hard slog, I'm not going to lie. Every day, emailing, calling. I wouldn't give up, and I will not ever give up when I'm dealing with police for owners. I will not accept that matters are civil if they are clear-cut thefts, and I will do everything in my power to argue that, which I do, with the police. If they want to close cases or they persist things are civil or no action, no further action, I will take to professional standards and police complaints. And I ask all owners, if you're not happy with the initial police, please go to professional standards. If you're then not happy with professional standards, as we wasn't in Nancy's case, take it to the Police Crime Commissioner. Keep on at the Police Crime Commissioner. Don't feel bad. You need your babies back. So, it is the most rewarding thing I've done. I learned from Nancy's case what to do for other owners, which I'm still doing to this day. And we hope that other dogs will get reunited. I'll take this opportunity to say we are not a lost and stolen dog group. We are generally picking up the pieces that may have gone wrong with other groups, or when they said civil matters and then certain dog groups can't take the case any further. We'll try and help you, and that's all I can say, try. We'll look at the facts and we'll be truthful with you. With Nancy, it was clear-cut theft. There was no other word for it. So I am now going to, because you're probably sick of hearing our voices, I'm going to try, and I say try because this is trial and error doing the lives, and share my screen to show you the video of Nancy and Denise being reunited by the police, and also a video when Nancy got home and her grandson was waiting. Okay, bear with me.
Thank you so much. It's Daddy. Say thank you to all those lovely people that was helping you come home. Look. Say thank you, Auntie Lisa, Tess, and Karen. Good deal. Update later, guys. Turn it off now.
Oh, every time I say that, I just want to start crying.
I hope that came through okay. Oh dear. Sorry, I need a glass of water. Oh, I've watched that video. I've lost count.
I don't know how many times I've seen it.
Can't watch it without tears. So you can imagine it hits us. Imagine how Denise feels even, all this time after. So that is really the story of Nancy. Very emotional story, but it proves don't give up on your dog. Please don't just listen to police or any lost dog groups when they say it's a civil matter, we can't help anymore. Look for other help. Nancy got back without Denise having to pay a penny.
Yeah.
She could have been £1,200 down. She may never have got Nancy back. She didn't have to pay us any money for us to do any calls or emails. There's no glory in that. This is the first time that we tried to help an owner. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I didn't know what I was doing because I've never done it before. But I could see, because I'm so passionate about dogs, if that was my dog, I'd want someone to do what they could to get it back. And as I said, with that, I've learned helping a few other owners, and I just hope and pray we get the same outcome. When Molly read it out, we have, for legal reasons, left out the whole names and also the name of the lost dog group. To date, they still have not replied to anything Denise has sent. I can't comment on that on here, but we will help follow that up also. So sorry about the state of me after watching those videos. Is there anything else you needed to say, Molly?
I just wanted to say I'm so glad that Nancy got home with Lisa, with how hard you work. It's absolutely amazing how hard Karen, Tess, and everyone else who works. Thank you so much. I'm fairly new to the pet theft world, and what I've learned since I've known Lisa is absolutely it is sickening. And the thought that you can help owners and everything is absolutely brilliant. And just a massive thank you to everyone that puts so much hard work into it. I'm so happy, Denise, that you got Nancy home. That every time I see it, I just want to start crying. And I really hope that we can help other owners to get their pets home as well, because after all, they are a family member, and there's just no words for how heartbroken it makes us feel. So heartbroken, but I can't imagine how heartbroken an owner is to know that their pet has been stolen.
I just want to give a big shout out, since me and Molly will be doing a live to talk a little bit more about Muddy Paws Crime next week after Pet Theft Awareness Week. But when we started it was just purely to be a pet theft production, which we are doing still, but we're just trying to get out the dogs, as much in the media as possible before. So as a new unfunded production company, it's quite difficult, but we will keep doing what we're doing. We have decided Muddy Paws Crime will continue on to help owners, animal welfare, lots of things that need to be addressed for the future. So it will be like a standalone Muddy Paws Crime thing anyway. Big shout out to Karen Field, Lisa Smith and Tess Jones, who have been my backbone since doing Muddy Paws Crime. If I help an owner, these three ladies are on board with me. They keep the groups going, they keep the group chats going, they give support to so many owners, as do so many other admins out there. And I admire you all. The amount of hours you put in voluntarily is amazing. The lost and stolen dog groups out there that go out physically looking for the dogs, you know, and cats. A big shout out to you. I admire you all. I really, really do. Don't ever think that Muddy Paws Crime doesn't, because we do. What we do is a little bit different, and I would like that recognised. We're here for maybe if things go a little bit wrong, you know, we'll try. That's all we can do.
Yeah.
So we'll leave you there.
Yeah.
I know Denise is watching, so love to you, Denise. Love to Nancy and all the doggies. It will be one story that lives with me forever, and the most rewarding thing I've done to date. So I thank you for that. All our early morning phone calls when you were so, you know, you're basically suicidal. It was heartbreaking. There was no way that we couldn't continue trying to help you. But glad you got Nancy back. We're sending you lots and lots of love, which I'm sure a lot of people will do in the comments also. We understand that you couldn't be on tonight. Totally understandable. Don't ever feel bad about that. We've got Nancy's story out there. So we'll just keep doing what we're doing. Me and you will always be in touch, Denise. And for anyone watching, we will be back at 8 o'clock live with Michelle, who is the missing dog Dana's owner.
Yeah.
See you then.
Bye. Thank you.